reported question on the budget statement presented by the Finance Minister did not follow the Constitution or the standing orders of Parliament. My attention has been drawn to the record, page 10 of the votes and proceedings of Friday, 26 November 2021. It shows that the confirmed numbers of the members of Parliament at the time the question was put were less than half of all the members of Parliament. Clearly, the record shows that 137 members were present. That number is less than 50% of all members of Parliament. As stated already, Article 1041 and our Standing Order 1091 regulate the process of decision-making in the House. The combined effect of these provisions and the standing orders are that the question shall not be put. The question shall not be put on any matter for a decision to be made unless at least half of all the members are present in the chamber. The Honourable Speaker presiding at the time the question was put appeared not to have adverted his mind to this constitutional and procedural requirements. I'm certain in my mind that given his very wide experience and expertise in Parliament, he would not have fallen into this error if his attention had been drawn to this constitutional requirement. The consequence, though, of the unfortunate error is that the putting of the question of the budget statement and the question on the budget statement and the economic policy was done in violation of Article 1041 of the 1992 Constitution, and therefore void and inconsequential, as the record shows 137 members were in the chamber. Subsequently, the vote and declaration that the budget statement was rejected are also hereby declared to be of no effect. Now that we have the numbers, sufficient numbers to take a decision in the chamber, I'll put the question again. But before that, I'll offer the opportunity to the Finance Minister, if he so wish, to make his concluding remarks. If he so wish to make his concluding remarks, as is the practice. Does the Finance Minister wish to make the concluding remarks?
Right Honourable Speaker, honourable members, I thank you for this opportunity. I came to the House to present the 2022 Ajinka budget in November 2017. There has been spirited debate, Mr. Speaker, since the presentation of that budget. The Ghanaian public at large, the minority side, including organizations such as FBOs, unions, employers, NUCs, GUTA, AGI, CSOs, etc. I therefore came to this House on Friday, November 26th, with a prayer to speak to the extended leadership of both the majority and minority to enable us discuss these issues. Mr. Speaker, I had humbly reminded the House as to how in the last 5 years there has been a consensus in passing the budget so that we move forward in a unified manner. Unfortunately, this very Ghanaian process was resoundingly rejected last Friday. We as a country must continue to move in unity in these very difficult times. We now move forward, and I'd like to assure the minority that in committee I'll look to address their concerns as enumerated in their open letter to the public. Mr. Speaker, there was an issue about acre energy, which we agreed in our statement, Mr. Speaker, that we will correct the language appropriately during committee meetings, and that we commit to do. Mr. Speaker, there was another request which had to do with Ejapa, and we agreed that consultations had not finished. AG is still working on that, and any such issue would also be brought to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, in fact, the estimates do not include any revenue from that transaction. Mr. Speaker, the minority was also worried about the issue of Brikusu and the coastline. We have 540 kilometers of coastline, and from Aflao to Pram about 149 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, we commit to look at this problem for the coastline in the coming weeks to ensure that we have resources for the design study and ensure that all on the coastline are taken care of on a policy basis. Mr. Speaker, they introduced the issue of benchmarks value in their new submission. Mr. Speaker, we have been very clear that the issue of enhancing manufacturing in Ghana is important, and we are committed, Mr. Speaker, to ensuring that all those traders also become part of the manufacturing enterprise that we want. As you know, already the issue of car assemblies are being done, and half of those 41 items that were included include cars. Mr. Speaker, the big issue in the House is the elephant in the room, which is the e-levy. Mr. Speaker, the e-levy enables us to tackle the three issues of debt sustainability, of infrastructure, and most importantly, of our employment issues. We have 11 million people, youth, and we have in this budget introduced the largest ever youth program of 10 billion Ghana cedis to ensure that the entrepreneurial nation that we seek will be achieved, and the issue of indecency of jobs and dignity of our youth working will be a thing of the past, as we speak a common language to move on. But Mr. Speaker, the issue of living standards is a problem that concerns us more than any other person. And we have, therefore, considered the issue of the 1.75% e-levy, in which, Mr. Speaker, we are in discussions with the telcos to scale back to moderate their impact, so that in the end, the impact on the citizenry would be manageable. But we cannot, Mr. Speaker, dissolve our resolve to get the type of resources we need to turn the corner. As you can see in this budget, the concern for the living conditions of our people is evident. We eliminated the toll booths, we increased the level of taxation from 200 to 500,000 so that fewer people would be taxed. We reduced the tax for small-scale miners from 3% to 1.5%. We extended the VAT flat rate, and Mr. Speaker, we introduced a 10 billion program to ensure that our youth have jobs. Mr. Speaker, this is a concerned government, and we intend to continue to go there. But Mr. Speaker, this requires burden sharing and sacrifices from all of us as a nation to cross to the Ghana beyond aid that we all look for. Mr. Speaker, as they say in Twi, Ekwan Inchen Adiyefe, Bayede Sika, Ena, Eto, and Nase Beye. Mr. Speaker, at this juncture, we have some 8%, 2.4 million of our people bearing the burden, or in a sense, carrying the palanquin for 30 million people in our nation, with a poor reflection of 14% revenue to GDP ratio. This is a poor reflection of the country, and this must also change. We must all, at this time, bear the burden together. Mr. Speaker, we have nothing to fear but to move forward in a united way. Let us challenge ourselves for the triumph of higher achievement, and let's re-establish the Black Star of Africa for a Ghana beyond aid. Mr. Speaker, I would like to assure the minority that in committee, all of these issues will be addressed, and we will have established a budget that will build an entrepreneurial nation, resolve our unemployment problems, resolve our debt problems, and ensure